Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a good day at work. I had a pretty rough day at work, but that's okay. Get to play some ball tonight. Going to test Payoff pitch, PC baseball alpha 5.1. I set this to show at 8:30 tonight because I didn't want to interfere with RJL and Phoenix Knight, who are also streaming right now. But then I got a notification that I'm going live, so not trying to compete with them or take away viewers from those guys. But this is the only time I really have to do this, so hopefully it's not an issue there. But I wanted to show off a project, do some testing, and I'm actually kind of going to do a little project where I am going to play the last weekend of the 1987 season. So showing the Start Anywhere feature. Let me share my screen. And using the Start Anywhere feature, which is a very cool feature that I'm very excited about. What I did was I set up, you can see I've got three different projects over here, but the one I'm going to do is the last weekend series. So the way to set these up, you go to new project, enter your name, tell it that it's a historical replay, select your season. So I selected 1987, and then you can pick the date. So I want to do the last weekend, the series of the last weekend, and then click create project. And it's going to take it a while. And I've already created this one. So I'm going to end up canceling this, but I at least wanted to show you what's happening here. You can see I chose October 2nd, 1987, and it's taking it a little bit to get going. But what it's actually doing is you can see that it says backfilling. So it's not just simming up to October 2nd, 1987. It's importing the real stats and the real box scores. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I've already completed it. So here it is here. This is the last weekend series. So let me cancel all that. Click on this series because I've already preset this up, but I wanted to show you that beginning part right there. To delete a project, just click on it. This is the one I had created that I canceled out. You can see it only did a few games because before I canceled it out. So let me delete this one. It's going to ask, are you sure you want to delete this? And it's going to make you type in delete to confirm. I just want to go ahead and delete this so I don't get myself confused. So now it's gone from my project list over here. Before I started this video, I actually went ahead and ran that all the way out. So, but I wanted to show you that first part so you can see what it looks like. And after that part runs, then this is what I'm left with. You can see I've got the home run leaders up to that date. So up to October 2nd, 1987. These were the home run leaders up to that date. These were the batting average leaders. So if you want to play out a replay from pick a date forward, you can do that, which I think is very cool. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to do just the last weekend. So coming into October 2nd, the only division that was not already decided was the American League East. And all Toronto had to do was win one game. They just had to win one game of the three. They would win the division. I already did to the very last day, last night. That was really fun. So you can see because it went to the very last day, because going into the very last day, Toronto had not won either of the two games that they needed to win. Detroit had won both. So it set up a winner take all for that last day. And I played that out yesterday, and Toronto actually won that game. In real life, I don't think they did. I think the Tigers did. But you can see that Willie Hernandez ended up being the losing pitcher. Hinkie ended up being the winning pitcher. It went 11 innings, so that was pretty cool. You can click here to view the box score. You can click here to see play results, which are really cool. I was going to show you what the Tigers did in the ninth. Um, in the bottom of the ninth, I guess it would have been the top of the ninth. Let's see. Now I've got myself confused. Um, Batter single was grounded to second. Batter single strikeout. No runs. Here we go. It would have been the bottom of the ninth. The Tigers needed 2 runs, and you can see on this play right here, the Hernan got a single. Lemon flew out to left. Evans flew out to second, and then the hits started with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Morrison got a double, and you can see that it even showed you like um, all the information down here, what happened, who scored, all that good stuff, like you would see on Baseball Reference. And the runs were scored. They tied it up, but they could not hold the lead. And Toronto ended up getting 2 in the 11th. And then the Tigers ran out of magic in the bottom of the 11th. They couldn't get them back. So all that come back for nothing. But that was the last day. Now I'm going to do the entire last weekend. And all that needs to happen is Toronto just needs to get one win. So let's see. I'm going to play this. My intent on doing this is to kind of play it the way I feel most guys are probably going to play this. I'm more of a board game companion guy, where I roll my own dice and enter in the stats. But I'm going to just kind of do all the rolls on here. Now that I got a better flow for the game, this will be better than the other test that I did last night, I feel, because this is going to give you a better flow for the game. Some of the things I asked for when I was testing yesterday are actually here today. So I'm just going to kind of go through and play a game, play this game here between Toronto and Detroit, see if I can get Toronto the win. So I'm going to click play. And it pulls in the actual historical lineups. You can hover over to view the cards. So I really like that. There's also an option that I've got turned off that'll let you see all the advanced analytics when you hover over cards. I've turned that off. I like just the cards. Um, but we've got Doyle Alexander, who was 13-10 up to this point with a 1.33 ERA, against Jim Clancy, who's 15-10 with a 3.5 ERA. And that is those stats. And I'm going to click play ball. I'm going to make the Tigers the black meeple, and I'm going to make Toronto Blue Jays the blue meeple. I'm going to click play ball. What I did in last night's test is I kind of just I rolled the dice, and I did the over here in game options. I did the interplay results manually, but I'm going to try out this version, which I actually tried out last night after my other test, and I liked this version as well. And I feel probably most guys are probably going to like this. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot of different options that you can go with here. These are the options that I have set up. This is where if you don't want to see those analytics, so if I click the button, let me show you what that does. If it says show player analytics and then resume, when you hover over the card, you get that black box that shows all those analytics. I'm not big into analytics, so I like that off. So you can see I've got in parentheses over here, I've made hotkeys, so I can just press O for my options, and then I can turn that off. If you want to, here are your hotkeys over here that you can set up. Okay, so now just to play the game. So let's do our pitch, and we got for Doyle Alexander versus Nelson Laureano, and it's got this little feature. You could roll the dice, and you could enter it in here if you want. But I'm going to click this little die icon to roll the dice. in game. So you can see I got a 6, which is a tough, and it's a 5. So a tough 5 against a right-handed pitcher. I'm sure not going to really explain too much about payoff pitch because most of you watching this probably didn't understand how to play this. But I got a tough 5, which is a strikeout. And one little feature that I think I would like is if I could just click enter or a hotkey to roll the dice. Definitely a hotkey type of player. So I got a 9, which is an in play, 94, and we can see in play 94. It's going to be a fly out to right field. 9 is in play. 17. So I got a single here. Now, one cool thing that I look at before I start doing it is his steal rating is a 1. So I want to remember that for the next screen. Although it will show you here, I like to see it on the card. And if you want to see the card, that's one of the things I asked about last night. But if you want to actually see that guy's card on first base, because if you're like me, you don't like to be told what the jump rating is. You like to go look at what the jump rating is. So it's kind of a silly thing, but I do. So I can see here he's a steal of 1. So really no need to roll because you can't get a 1 or less. But on 2d6, but it's there. So it kind of spells out right here what's happening. Oops. And so now after that roll, then it brings you back. That was for the jump. Now the pitcher's roll. I got a 4, which is a tough. And you can see that tough that I rolled on the batter's roll was a 33. So because he got a single and we're using the facts for base runner advancement, I've got to flip the fact. So it tells me over here that the ball was blooped into right field. Um, Runner on first advances 1 base, runner on second scores. So it spells all that right out here for you. So here's my advancement, and I'm off and rolling again. Tough. Strikeout. So Doyle Alexander gets out of it. And now it is the Tigers half. I keep wondering if there's, because I could do use random all here. And that will fill that in for me rather than clicking the dice. I wish there was a keyboard click that I could do, but I keep looking for it because yesterday I found a lot of things I was looking for after I said it would be nice to have this. Then I played offline and I found those features. So I keep looking for it now. Maybe it's here already, but I'm not seeing it. So a 6 on Clancy's card is a tough. Tough 62 is going to be a fly out to left field. Madlock. Patient. 96 is a fly out to left field. Clancy versus Gibson. 7 is in play. 36, and we can see that's just above his 28 range. So it is going to be a pop out to second. It tells me all that over here, and it'll move it over here if you want to see that. A little splash screen. Yeah, I've got it set to last for 3 seconds, but you can also click or press enter. Oh, you can press R. There it is. I did set up a hotkey to press R to roll the dice for me. So I forgot that I did set that up. So I rolled an R. The 8 is tough. And I wrote an 18, we can see is a strikeout. 5 is a patient. 84 is a ground out to second. Which brings up Greg Myers. Tough. 59 is definitely a strikeout. So the Tigers go quietly in the bottom of the second, or in the top of the second. That was Toronto that went quietly. Now we're on to the Tigers. Clancy versus Trammell. In play, 99, fly out to left field. Clancy versus Evans. tough. 37 is a single. So I like to look, see that 4, which is going to give me my jump rating. So it tells me that I'm looking for a 4 on this roll, a 4 or less to get the jump. And again, 11, so I don't get the jump. So now I'm on to the pitcher's roll. Actually, we're going to do a sack bunt rating. And the way I play the dice game is I just use you can see Noak's sack bunt is a 2. I will roll the dice, and if it's a 2, I don't do a separate roll for the sack bunt check, but I think most guys do, and that's the way it's built into the game here. So it's just a separate roll. So you can see that I actually did get the 2. So you can see the 2 right here. I actually did get it. So now I've got to flip a fact for the bunt rating, and his bunt is a B. It tells me here, but like I said, I like to see it over here. So I'm gonna flip this card. And I'm gonna look at the B in the sack bunt, and we can see that it's a sacrifice hit to the catcher. Sacrifice hit, batter out, runners advance. So that is cool. So Noakes moves Evans. So here's Evans. Noakes moves Evan into scoring position here. So very good presentation. You can see it's getting close to being ready. A lot of good things going on. So we got a pitcher's roll here. And we got a 2 for the defense. So we're going to have to flip this fact here to check the defense. And you can see we're looking at the error on the third baseman. And it's going to tell you that the third baseman's error rating is a 2, which I would love to be able to see that card, but I'm going to take the word for it. So over here, the error 1 to 65, it's going to be an error. So I'm going to roll, and I got an 87, so it's going to be an out. So I have to flip the fact for the out result, and we see an out. In the infield, it's going to be a ground ball, and the runner's going to advance. So it said runners advance. My runner doesn't advance. I don't know if I read that wrong or what. But, it's 2 outs. I guess that's why. 3 outs. All right. Top of the third. Got a in play. 64 is a fly out to left field. Wheelhouse. And he got a 1. So it's going to be a double for Nelson Laureano. So a 1 out double there. We got Mosby. We can see Laureano's card over here if I forgot to look at the jump rating. So Laureano's card, I can hover over it and I can see that his jump rating is a 6. So let's see, we should have us roll for that. And it did not have us roll for that. So I'm assuming that's a bug. Could be a mistake that I made. But at least it's having us check for the sack bunt rating. So I wrote a 7, so no sack bunt. Pitcher's roll is in play. And I wrote a 35. It's going to be a pop out to the second baseman. So that's not going to be helpful. Now I get the jump rating with 2 outs here. And it's got to be doubles, and it's got to be 6 or lower. So it tells me that it was not doubles. I got a 2 and a 3. So I get the 5 here, but the roll was a 2 and 3. So even though it was below 6, since it's not doubles, I don't get the jump. Tough. Line 58 is a line out to second. So that's going to end the threat here. Nice little splash screen there. And we are in the bottom of the third. Tigers. Remember, Toronto just got to win 1 to win the division here. So we've got in play. 18 is going to be a single. His jump rating is a 2. So he doesn't get the jump. And then Brookins' sacrifice bunt rating is a 2, 3, or a 12. So we'll be looking for that on the next roll. I got a 6, so no sacrifice bunt. So we're on to the pitcher's roll. 3 is a patient. 20 is a walk. So we got runners on first and second with nobody out. Looks like Detroit is dealing here. Clancy's in trouble. A sack bunt check of 7, so there's no sack bunt. Pitcher roll is in play. And we got a 47, so it's going to be a grounder to first. So now we're looking for the double play, and you can see the double play on the pitcher's card is a 6. The double play on the hitter's card is a 5. So 5 or less will get the double play if I'm playing this right. So it does have me do this D100 roll in between, and this might be something I don't understand about the game, why it has me do this, because I don't do this when I'm playing the game offline, but I'm rolling it and it tells me really nothing is happening there. So now I'm looking for a 5 or less to see if there's a double play, and I got the 2. So that would be a 3-6-3 double play. And got the runner on third with, but now 2 outs. And this called it a 1-4-3 double play. So let's see if Madlock can bring them home here. Again, if you want to hover over that guy on third, you can do that right here. Tough. 26 is a strikeout. So Tigers threaten in the bottom of the third, but they don't get the run across. So it brings up the Blue Jays. We got George Bell, 47 home runs. Is going to be a patient. 57 is going to be a ground out to the third baseman or first baseman. Tough. 18 is a strikeout. Jesse Barfield. In play. 14 is a single. So he is a 1-3 as his jump rating. 9 is nope. And being that he's a D stealer, you kind of don't want to get the jump there because he probably get thrown out if he tries to run. On Matt Noakes, his arm is a 4. I don't know. He'd probably have a fair chance, but in play, 25 is a single, so we got to flip the fact. For the runner, Barfield, his speed is a 7. Now, I'm interested in how this is coded because the way I believe the instructions are written is that in the game, if he's a 6 or higher, and it's 2 outs, they automatically get the extra base. Unless they are below a 6, then you just use whatever result is on the fact. So we'll see what happens here. And it's a single, and it's going to be one base regardless. I said it would be one base regardless, but it does look like it plays by the rule in the rule book where if he's a runner above 6, then he would get the extra base regardless. I kind of don't think, Dana, if you're watching this, that we need to do the fact there because that's probably going to confuse people who don't understand the rule. But it might also confuse people who don't understand the rule of why the fact doesn't show up. So I don't know what you want to do with that, but I think that's why he went from first to third, even though the fact said that he only got one base. All right, regardless, first and third, top of the fourth, and we got Alexander versus Myers, and Myers' card does not look very good. So we'll see what we get though. Patient. That's one of the things. If he can get a 19 or less, well, so he's going to ground out. Middle of the fourth, another close game. Great pitching duel here. Jim Clancy versus Kirk Gibson. Patient, 66 is going to be a fly out to left. Tough, 77 is going to be a fly out to center. And that's going to bring up Darrell Evans, and we get a in play 39 is going to be a line out to second. So after 4, it is tied 0-0. Doyle Alexander comes back out looking to face off against Manuel Lee, who's looking to get the Blue Jays a start here. And we got a tough 39. So he fights off the pitch. He gets a single, and we'll be rolling for the jump. No jump. And the sack bunt rating, we can see is a 2 or 3 or 12. So he won't be doing the bunt. On to the pitcher's roll. We got a wheelhouse against a righty, so we can see a 42 or less, and they're in business. And he gets an 81, which is going to be a fly out to center and a runner on first, so it's not going to advance the runner. Try the sack bunt again. We got a 2 or 12 is an 8. So the pitcher's roll is a 6, a tough pitch from Doyle Alexander, but Mosby cannot handle it, and he strikes out as well. 2 outs. Moldenix. And you can see he has a bunt rating here, but because there's 2 outs, we're not doing the sacrifice bunt check. So 8 is another tough result, tough 84, and that's going to be a fly out to center. So they can't do anything with getting the leadoff guy on, and that brings us to the middle of the 5th, and the Tigers are going to see if they can get to Clancy. We got an in play 53 as a ground out to third. Chet Lemon, another tough pitch. 62 is a fly out to right. And Luzader, I'm not familiar with him. We got a 7, so that's going to be an in play. With that 7 being in play for Clancy, I feel he's a little gettable, but the Tigers haven't been able to capitalize. 61 is going to be a fly out to left field. We're on to the top of the 6th. Doyle Alexander versus George Bell. Dangerous George Bell. And we got a tough 52 is going to be a ground out to the pitcher. A patient for Beniquez is going to be a walk. And notice he doesn't have a jump rating, so there shouldn't be a steal check or jump check. And there's not. We go straight to the pitcher's roll. I'm assuming because there's no bunt check either, because Barfield doesn't have a bunt rating. So we're straight to the pitcher's roll. And that's another patient result. Patient 32 is going to be a double. So with that runner on first, so this is where I love having this card here, so I can look and see that his run rating is a 3, and it does list it here for you. But I just love being able to hover over, see this run is a 3, and we're looking at the double result. And it says a double line drive into the alley, runners advance 2 bases. So Beniquez doesn't get the extra base, but he should go to third. And that's exactly what happens. And I could bring the infield in here. I'm going to do that. I'm not real good on understanding everything that goes on when the infield is in without my chart handy, but some of these charts are coded in the game. So let's see what we get. So infield in. Here comes the pitch. And we got a tough. Now this is kind of cool here. I think it will get to show off some features. So it's a tough 62. So we can see that that's going to be a fly out to left field. Now, um, Beniquez's run rating is a 3, and it shows me that it's a 1. That's because the instructions are, if it is, and you guys probably know this if you're watching this, but if it's off of a tough result, you subtract 2. Kind of pretty cool because I've always wondered how that works, but this lets me know I've been doing it right as I'm playing through the game offline. I wondered, like, do you still subtract it on a fly out? Actually, I knew that there were other situations, but anyway, regardless, a run of 1 versus an arm of 6, and the way it works is he's safe if the 2d6 is 1 or less. He's out if the 2d6 is uh, greater than 6. Otherwise, you would roll on the chart. Now, there is a little bug here that I found last night that if you just click continue here and you don't make a decision, it will freeze up the game. I would like to, even though it would be a horrific decision, I think, to send him here, to send Beniquez here. I think it would be a pretty bad decision with that 1 safe rating, although the arm rating isn't great. Um, I'm not going to do it. Maybe there'll be another chance. But what I was wanting to do is if I send him and then it comes up between this split, you have to use the chart, and then there's a little question mark on the next screen where the chart will actually pop up on the screen, which I think is just super cool. But I'm going to say I'm not going to send him here. So he's going to stay at third, but now there's 2 outs. Probably could have justified with that being, the 2 outs, sending him there, but I didn't do it. All right. So now we got Alexander versus Miles. And an 8 is a tough 76. And I probably should have pinch hit there. I didn't really take a look at Miles's card. But I didn't. And being a catcher, although it's essentially a playoff game, especially for Toronto, since they've got to win 1 game, maybe I could have, but that's what makes this fun. A lot of decisions to make. Let's see if the Tigers can capitalize on my poor managing skills there. Clancy versus Brookins. 4 is in play. 72 is going to be a ground out to second. Clancy versus Whitaker. Patient. 42, and he gets the walk. So let's roll for the jump. No jump. And the pitch, there is a sack bunt rating of 2 to 3 or an 11. And it looks like I got the 2. So we're going to be bunting here. And we can see that Madlock's bunt rating is a B. So we'll be looking here at the B on the FAQ. And we can see that it's a sacrifice hit to the pitcher. And I guess the runner doesn't advance. I didn't look to see if he should advance or not. Maybe he did advance. I could probably dig through and look and see, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. Got an in play, 52. And you can see that's a ground out to the first baseman. So teams are getting their chances, but nobody can get anything across. We're going to the last third of the game, and we got Alexander versus Manuel Lee, and we're not at Alexander's fatigue rating yet, but I did check it last night. It works the way I believe the rules are written, which is the fatigue doesn't come up until he gives up 3 runs or more. So he wouldn't be fatigued anyway. So I got the pitcher roll of 12, which is ballpark. So now we're going to do a roll. It pulls up the ballpark here. So we're going to do a roll on the ballpark. Manuel Lee is going to be batting left. So we're looking for 1 to 88 is his wheelhouse. And he gets to 19. So we can see he gets a roll in the wheelhouse. 1 to 15 is a homer. Up to 46 is on base. So let's see what we get. And we get to 42. So he gets the single. See if he can get a jump. So his jump rating is a 3, no jump. And sack bunt of 2 to 3 or 12, no sack. So on to the pitcher's roll. In play, 61 is a grounder to third. So let's see if we can get that double play. We got a double play of 6, double play of 6. So 6 or lower. We got to do this roll. Somebody knows what this roll is about. Please tell me. If I'm doing something incorrectly, I'd love to know. It doesn't look like that changes anything. And so we're still looking for that 6 or lower on the 2D6, and he gets the double play. So it calls it the 5-4-3. And what do they call that? The pitcher's best friend there. Alexander versus Mosby. And we got a patient result. Patient 93. It's probably going to be an out, and it is a fly out to right. Well, the Tigers get a chance to go up and maybe clinch the division, go on their way toward clinching the division. We got Trammell. 9 is patient. So it should be a good chance for Trammell here, but 56 is going to be a hit by pitch. So let's see if that comes back to haunt him. Trammell with that still 4A, he'd be a guy you'd want, and you can see down here he had 21 stolen bases on the season. Let's see if he can get that 4 or less, and he does. So he's going to get the A, because you can see his still over here. Trammell's still is his jump is a 4, looking at the card, but his steal rating is an A, and then the catcher's arm is a 2. So it tells us here that the A2 was very good. And here's the chart. So I love this. I hope people have made it this far in the video and see this. I think this is one of the features that I asked for. I don't know if anyone else asked for it, but one of the things I said was, hey, if there's a chart, I want to see it in game. I could always pull out the charts, but I would love to be able to see the charts in the game if I'm playing a card and dice version. And it looks like he put that in there. So you can see I'm using the normal column, right? Because he's a A2. Now, I normally use the facts, but very good. I'm going to be using the very good column. So he's going to be safe on 27 to 99. 0 to 2 is a drop. 3 to 12 is a stolen base plus error. 13 to 26, he's caught stealing. And the cool thing about it is, even after you roll, I can see I got a 99, and it tells me I'm safe. But if I want to see like how close was it, I can hover over the chart, and I can see that he was 27 to 99. He was going to be safe. If I'd rolled like a 27 or a 26, I could imagine that it was like a super close play in this very good column. But the 99, he's in there standing up. So that's kind of why I like to see the charts. So Trammell with a big time steal, getting himself in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Evans, let's see if we can bunt him over to third. And it's only a 2, so roll that dice. He gets an 11. Clancy is a 7 in play, 92. So this is another one of those decisions where it's a fly out to right field. It was in play, so I don't think the run rating is adjusted. Trammell is a 6. His run rating is not, so 6 or less, and he's safe. The arm rating to right field, and I'll tell you, because you can see it here, Barfield's arm is a 7. Greater than 7, he's out. With no outs, or only this will be the fly out is the first out, I'm not going to send him. We can second guess me, but I'm not going to send him. So I'm going to say no here. Maybe if it was the second out and he would have been on third with two outs, I probably would have sent him. I'm going to say no here and hold him at third. And oh, it was just second. So I guess that was to see if he would tag up and go to third. So definitely wouldn't have sent him if I'd have realized he was just tagging up to go to third. Because I like to keep him in scoring position with maybe if there was, you send him to third if you can get him there with less than two outs is the general way I play that. Um, so actually, I could have justified sending him there, having him on third with less than two outs. I could have justified it to myself, um, but I didn't. I didn't do it. I'm a chicken. All right, Trammell. I don't think you should bunt here. Um, Probably some people would want an option to call that bunt off, even checking for it. I'm good with it being there. All right, so we got a no sack bunt. We got an 8 is a tough 54. I thought that had a chance, but it's just a grounder to third. And see if he advances here. I believe the rule is they have to be greater than a 6 to advance, unless you get like a 11 or 12, then it's only a play at first. I got a 6. Runner holds it second base. Batter's out at first. All right, one more chance here. Trammell or Clancy versus Lemon. And we got an in play, so a chance here for Lemon, and it's a 74. So it's going to be a fly out to center. So good chances there by the Tigers, but they just could not get it across. These pitchers are giving it their all. Now this is Clancy. You can see he's fatiguing his 8, but because he hasn't given up those 3 runs, he's still good to go. If he were tired or fatigued, there would be like little sweat drops over here to let you know he was fatigued. Um, I guess this I hadn't noticed this hover over here, telling me he has no more innings until he's fatigued. I'm assuming that's what that is. You can see Mullenix today is 1 for 3. It also shows it over here. 10 is patient, 4. So you know that's going to be good. And Mullenix is not a great base runner. Should probably pinch run here, but I'm a little lazy. Um, Still chance. Not going to happen since he's a 1. You can't roll a 1 or less. Let's see. Does he have a bunt rating? George Bell, I doubt it. No bunt rating, so we're not doing a bunt check. Patient. That could be good. Patient 5. It's a second walk. Now we got runners on first and second. Toronto is threatening here. Sack bunt. He has to roll a 2 or less. Gets to 6. Pitcher's roll is an 8. Tough pitch. Let's see if Beniquez can handle it. And he does. He gets a 62. So let's see. I said last time I could justify trying to get the runner to third. It's a tough, so his run rating is going to be reduced by 2. So this is a 5. It should be a 3, which it is. So 1 to 3, he's safe. An arm of 9. It's got to be greater than 9 to be out. I'm going to hold him again. First and second. Don't want to run myself out of an inning or run the Blue Jays out of an inning. Alexander trying to get out of this jam. In play, 27 is going to be a single. So this is going to be very interesting. We got Mullenix on second with the run of 5. Bell on first with a run rating of 6. Soft blooper. Runner on first advances one base. Runner on second scores. So let's see if that's what happens. And it is indeed what happens. So the Blue Jays are on the board. Runners on first and second. Jump rating for Bell. I'd have to roll Snake Eyes here since it's checking for third and he doesn't get it. Sack bunt chance, no sack bunt. So we're rolling. 8. Tough. 56 is a grounder to third. Let's see if they can get the double play. Needs we need a 6 or less. And a roll to 7. So I believe that's the fielder's choice. The runner's going to be out at second. And that's what happens. So now we got runners at the corners, 2 outs. Upshaw trying to get this jump here. No, can't get a good lead. And Myers is pretty horrific. But I'm going to let him, since the Blue Jays have the lead, I'm going to let him hit. Tough. 3. Oh, it's a strikeout. I get excited when I get those low numbers because I'm used to Will and Patient, and in play, that's usually pretty good. But on tough, that's not pretty good. So there's the third out. Let's see if the Tigers can get it back in the bottom of the 8th. And we got, who do we have? Lusader, Brookins, and Whitaker coming up. 319, 241, and 265 hitters. I'll let Clancy stay in. Might bring somebody in the 9th, or even if guys get on, even though Clancy won't be fatigued. I might bring someone in if they start threatening. So we got a ballpark result. On the pitcher's roll, 10 is ballpark, so it brings up the ballpark card. And we got a lefty, so we're going to be looking at this column. Lefties love Tiger Stadium. 90 is just in play. They just missed the wheelhouse. And we get the in play against a righty. In play 64 against a righty. It's going to be a fly out to left field. So he got his pitch, but he could not handle it. And he goes down. It's a quiet fly out. Brookins, pitcher roll, another tough, 94, and that's going to be a fly out to left. And Whitaker. See what Whitaker can do. 16 homers on the year. He really just needs to get on base. With his 342 on base, he rolls in play, so he has a decent chance. 21. It's going to be a single there. So maybe he can get the steal and they'll get him in. So we need to roll a 3 or less to get the jump. No jump. So Madlock's going to have to get a double and bring him in here, or a triple, or a homer. Or just keep the line moving. Let's see what we get. Pitcher's roll is Patient. So a low number might be something for Madlock. 12. It's going to be a walk. Should I bring in a lefty to fake Gibby? I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if I can overmanage myself and bring in a lefty here to face Gibson. And probably some of you want to see how to do subs. I do not want to cancel. I want to keep rolling. I thought there was a way to go back to making the sub. I guess there is not. So I guess I'm not going to. Did that say if I click cancel, is it going to cancel me out of the whole game or just the at bat? This will abort the current play. So that's actually what I want to do. So I'm going to look at bringing in someone to pitch for Clancy. Although Gibson is 0 for 3 today. If I remember correctly, he's not great against lefties. Let's look at the card here. Much better against righties, I would say, that's for sure. Although not in the Patient. It's a mix. somebody probably wants to see how the subs work. So I will, you can see I got my hotkeys over here. You might not be able to see because I'm probably in the way. But Clancy, I want to bring in, so I'm going to press 1 to bring up Toronto's roster. And you can filter here by just relief pitchers. And these are because the historical mode uses the as played lineups and real transactions. These are the pitchers that were available on that day. So, do I have a lefty? You can click here to see the card. So, you can click on it. Um, I can see Hinky is a 100. I remember if I went and turned the analytics on, he's tier 1 elite. Oh, it is down here. So, he's tier 1. He's elite. He's a righty. I don't even have a lefty. I do have a lefty in the pen. He's not good though. So what do I do here? At this point in the season, I don't want to game the game and say, they didn't know he wasn't good, but I feel the last weekend of the season, he had pitched 32 innings by this point in 29 games. They probably knew he wasn't good at this point. So I'm going to leave a right-handed Clancy in there even though it's the opposite handedness rather than bringing in a poor left-handed pitcher. But if you wanted to do it, you would just all you do to make the sub is you grab the player and you slide it over to the pitcher spot, and that's how the sub is that easy. Um, and you got this little bar up here that kind of resets the game for you. You can click over. I've showed you that how to see the cards. So probably if I wanted to really game the game, I could click on Hinky, bring him in for righty versus lefty, but his card's a little better. I can see this 100 that he's a little better. Um, he's best as a tough. His core is tough. Um, I don't quite understand everything that is here. Um, it looks like maybe this is telling us he gets a good result 72% of the time, a bad result 17% of the time, and a neutral result 11% of the time. Compare that to Lanville, and you can see it's quite a bit different. He's a tier 5 risky, whereas Hinky is a tier 1 elite. It would be cool if I could click on Clancy's card and see that here. Maybe I can. I can do that. So I mean, he's a 96 tier 1 elite as well. Um, I'm gonna leave him in. I'm gonna cancel this and roll the dice. Literally, roll the dice. So we got Clancy versus Gibson, and the pitchers roll. We'll get that in play neutral result here. It's a 92 though, and you can see it's going to be a ground out to second. So the Tigers could not get it done. Do I bring in someone to pitch for Alexander? I'm going to let him go. He had 6 complete games in real life. He's been great this game. So I'm going to let him go. It does tell me that it's using the combined totals here. He must have been on multiple teams that year. I think I heard Dana say that you can use the you can set it to where it has just their card for that team. That's coming in the future. I'm fairly certain I remember Dana saying that. So here we go. Pitchers roll. And we get that 12, which is a ballpark result. And Manuel Lee's hitting left, so he's probably going to get a wheelhouse. 2 is a wheelhouse, and luckily he can't do too much damage. 88, and he's not going to do any damage. He's going to ground out at second. That's one of the things I love about payoff pitches. You can just anticipate. They get a pitch. You can tell the pitcher served up a meatball, and the batter missed it. And you can feel that in the game. So I think that's pretty cool. Alexander again. I'm the manager. I'm going to leave him in, even though he just served up a meatball. I'm going to say that was a one-off. 10 is patient. It's not making me look good here. Patient 81, but Laureano can't do anything with it and flies out. Alexander, patient 53 is going to be a single. And we got a decent base runner here. So his jump rating is a 5, and he gets the 5. So again, you can see the chart here, which I love. Um, he's a 5, and the catcher is a B. So it tells you. I'm sorry, his steal rating is a 1. No, I'm looking at. I do that all the time. I want to look here instead of looking here. So his steal rating is a B. The catcher's arm is a 4. So I'm going to use the B4, which is the excellent column. B4, excellent chance. So we can see he's safe on 18 to 99. So let's roll that and a roll of 5. So that's going to be, you can hover over on that excellent column and you can see it's a stolen base plus a possible error on the catcher. So I'm not running into this yet, but we can see his error rating is a 5, or his error rating is a 4. And that means catcher error rating is a 4. If it is the 1d6 is greater than 4, so a 5 or 6, they get an extra base. And it's a 1. So he's safe with a late throw, but no error. On to the pitch, Mullenix. Tough. 9. It's going to be a strikeout. So here we go. We're coming to the bottom of the ninth. I showed you in the beginning of this video when I did the start anywhere, and I started on the very last day. Toronto needed 2 runs going into the bottom of the ninth, and they got it. I'm going to leave Clancy in. Let me just look at the bench. Let me look at the roster. I've already done that, haven't I? And Henke he had 34 saves. He's a righty, right? He is a righty. So let me look at the lineup here for Detroit. We got Trammell, who's a righty, and then 2 lefties coming up. I'm gonna keep Clancy in, but he's gonna have a short leash. All right, I said it out loud, so here we go. 7 is in play. 37 is a single. And we can see Trammell is a decent threat on the bases. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the switch. Bring in the closer. Don't want to blow this lead with my closer sitting on the bench, right? Plus, I can show off how easy it is to make the substitution. So I just slid them over there and I click accept. And it's that easy to sub in pitchers. So we'll see if we can get the jump. His jump rating is a 4. And his steal rating is an A. So if he gets the jump, he'll have a really good chance of getting the steal. Evans, his sacrifice bunt, he doesn't have a sacrifice bunt rating. So we need it's not doing the steal check. So I'm assuming that's a bug because it should do a steal check when you change pitchers. Or no, did I already do the steal check? I don't remember. Regardless, we're going with the sack bunt rating. But Evans, he does have a sack bunt rating of 2. And I wrote a 9. So we're not doing the sack bunt. 7 is tough. And if you would remember on my With the Clancy's card, 7 was in play. So this might make a big difference here. But the runner is on first. We got a tough 55 is a strikeout. It says strikeout over here. Am I doing everything right? So I got a 7, which is tough. I got a 55. This says strikeout, but this says a fly out to left field. Regardless, either way, it's an out. Don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if that's a glitch slash bug. Regardless, nothing really would have changed because there's an out with a guy on first. He wouldn't have been tagging there. So, all right. So now we get the still check rating. So I guess maybe this is where we get the still check because normally you don't get a still check rating for every at bat. So maybe since it's a new pitcher, that's why we're getting the still rating here. That's probably a little something I wasn't doing right in the game when I play offline. I would have gone ahead and done it when I first brought in Hinkie instead of waiting for the next batter. Regardless, a 1 to 2, 3, or 4 here, and Tremble gets a good jump, and I got an 8. So we can't get as good jump, good lead. So we're on to the pitch. Hinkie. 7 is tough. Oh, that was a sack bunt. Sack bunt is 2. No bunt. Now we're on to the pitcher's roll. And we rolled a 2, which is a defense check, flip the fact, and it's an error on the first baseman. The first baseman error rating is a 5. So 1 to 29, he makes the error. And let's roll the dice. And I get the 12. I get a 12 on a 5. So let's see what happens. Error. It's going to be a single plus 1 base. So there's the single and there's the extra base. So with 1 out, runner on second. Got to bring the infield in here, right? Or you could walk Lemon to try to set up the double play. His double play is a 7. Hinkie's double play is a 5. So it'd be a 5 or less. I'm going to bring the infield in. I don't know that that's actually set up because this is not lit up to indicate. I'm going to click normal defense. I'm going to click infield in. There's nothing that really confirms that the infield is in. I'm going to assume it is, but Dana, if you happen to be watching, infield in here, some sort of indicator to confirm that that's in would be nice. And maybe it's here and I'm missing it. All right. We got Lemon versus Hinkie. And the pitcher roll is patient. That could be trouble. It could be big time trouble. Patient 3. He loads the bases. And there's nothing here that tells me the infield is in either. Just looking for that, even though it doesn't matter. I was looking for some sort of indicator here that might tell me that it's in. So, again, I don't trust to get the double play. So I'm going to do infield in again. Pitcher roll. 9 is tough. Uh-oh. Tough 79, right? Is a fly out to center field. So my runner on third is Trammell. He's a 6, but it was tough, so you subtract 2, so it should be a 4. The arm is a 9, so 4 or less, and he's safe. 10, 11, or 12, he's higher. 5 through 9, we use the split chart. So I am sending him, and I need a 4 or less. So I'm going to click yes to send him. I need a 4 or less. And greater than a 9 is an out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we use the split chart. And it tells you here that the run is reduced by 2 due to tough. So I like all of that. And let's see what roll I get. And I get the 7. So we go to the coach's choice split chart. It tells you the range right here, but I like to just look over the chart here. I love this. So I need a 56 to 99 drop 101D6 versus the fielder's E rating. So that gets into some craziness. 11 to 45, he's out. 46 to 55 is a wild throw, which could mean the fielder doesn't get to it because it's off target. So a lot of things could happen. There's a couple little yellow indicators down there. Roll 0 0. I love that. Both check both the runner and the fielder for injury. That's not implemented currently. I like how Dana has that there, that it's just not implemented yet. A roll of 55, which happens to be my favorite number. Check outfield, making throw for injury. So that's kind of cool. But I'm going to roll, and I'm looking for a 56 to 99. He's safe. 46 to 55, he's potentially safe. 0 to 10, he's potentially safe. So a lot to look for here. And the roll is a 51. So 51 is wild. Wild tells me roll 1d6 against the outfielder's E rating. So my outfielder's E rating is a 4. Roll 1d6 against outfielder's E rating. If the d6 is greater than 4, it's a wild throw in the runner. So 5 or 6, it's a wild throw. Else, throw is on target but late and he's safe, and the trailing runner is advanced. So we're getting the tie ball game here regardless. And we rolled a 5. It's a wild throw. So everybody is moving up, or both runners are moving up. So the Tigers did it again. They get the run that they need, even though I brought in Hinkie. And we got drama here in payoff pitch. Brookins, let's see if they can get the go ahead run in. Brookins, 89 if I want to pinch hit him or not. 294 on base. Let's see who we got on the bench. Brookins is playing. What position is he playing? It'd be nice. Oh, he's playing third base. Surely I got to make sure I have a third baseman on the bench. So I do have plenty of guys who can play third base. Now, this is something I was asking Dana about. I feel like, and maybe because they had expanded rosters in September, there might be a lot more guys available on the bench. I don't know if this is historically all the guys who are available. It does show, it's showing pictures too, I guess. Um, all position players. So maybe that's right since it's probably expanded rosters. Um, Regardless, I want to find a guy who can hit lefties. I don't have or hit righties. I got a righty facing Hinkie. Hinkie is a righty. So I want to find a lefty. Right, right, left. But he's not very good. We're going to just roll with it. We're going to roll with it. We're going to let Brookins hit. And the roll is a tough 81. And it's going to be a fly out to center. But the Tigers do what they do, and they got to run across to get us some free baseball here in the top of the 10th inning. And let's try to go through this a little quicker. I'm going to let Doyle foreshadow what was it Jack Morris would do in 91 when he went 10 or 11 innings of but it's not a shutout. But I'm going to let Alexander pitch here, mainly because I'm lazy. Patient, single. No jump. No bunt. We got a patient, 22. That's another walk. Patient again. Another walk. We got a lefty. All right, time to get Doyle out of there. Now that he's walked the bases loaded. Bring in, look at all relievers. Probably some starters would probably be. Got Icorn, Gordon, and Lavelle. Man, he's not good. um, I need to be looking at Detroit, don't I? Henneman, Hernandez. I like Willie Hernandez. So I'm going to bring him in for Doyle Alexander. Put you in a tough spot here, Willie. You can see he's tier 3. He's a solid guy. 25% of the time he's going to get a bad roll. 61% is going to get a good roll. I'm going to bring the infield in. In play is one of those neutral rolls. In play 92. Tag up, and we've got my guy on thirds is a 6, and the outfield arm is a 9. I'm going to attempt to score 6 or less, and he scores. It's a 10, so it's an automatic out, right? Because it's higher than the 9. So, man, runner on third base out, runner on second base thrown out. Man, that was brutal. Whitaker against Hinkie. We're gonna let Hinkie go again. He's a short plus. Tough 79. It's gonna be a fly out to center. Tough 83. It's gonna be a ground out to short. Might be going on here for a while. Tough 4 is a strikeout. So they went quietly in their bottom half of the 10th. We're into the 11th. I want to let Willie Hernandez go another inning. These bullpens are pretty bad. Tough, or at least what's left in the bullpen. Tough 98. It's going to be a fly out to right. 9 is an in play. 10 is going to be a single. And he's a good stealer. So let's see what we get here. We need a 3 or less. No jump. But we got a couple chances of a sacrifice bunt here. And he does. He rolls a 3, and that's in his range. So he's a C bunter. So we will look at that. And we can see it's a sacrifice hit to the pitcher. So he moves the runner up into scoring position with 2 outs. And Mosby's up. Lefty on lefty. We'll let him hit. In play 11 is a single. The rule is he gets the extra base if he's a 6 or greater. So this fact really should not matter. The run should score because he's a 7, if I understand the rules. Really doesn't matter either way because this said he would get it as well. So Toronto goes ahead. Mosby with a jump check. He had a good chance, but he doesn't get the lead. Patience. Another walk. Hernandez struggling here. In play, 52 is a ground out to the pitcher. All right, bottom of the 11th. So you can see Hinky is tired here. So I guess I've got to bring in another guy. There's no one great left, I don't think. Icorn looks like our best option. Four is patient. 94 is a fly out to left. 7 is in play. 26. Wow, that's Daryl Evans. 26. I was expecting on base there, but you can see he just missed it. Pops it out to second instead. So the last hope is Matt Noakes, and he's gonna have to do it against a tough pitch. Tough 93 is going to be a fly out to right, and that is going to give the win to Toronto. So they are still alive. They have to win out this series. Um, the, no, actually, Toronto in real life just needed to win one game, so they won it right here. They would be in, and they would make the playoffs and win the division. You can click here to see. Here's your MVP. Here's your box score. I'm going to end the game. And if you go over to games for that date, you'll see here it is. Um, you can go back and look at other days. Remember, these were historical games that were actually played. The replay did not begin until October 2nd. So all of these would be replay games, but anything before would be the second. So we can see that Toronto still now the standings have adjusted from before the game, and they have a two-game lead with 2 games to go, and they hold the tiebreaker, so they're going to win the division. So let me get over here and stop sharing my screen. And there you have it. I have no idea how long this stream went. I hope you guys, an hour and 17 minutes. Um, a lot of good features, a lot of good things. Um, can't wait for this to come out. I think you guys are going to like it. I'm enjoying it. As I said, that's not normally how I play. I normally roll. It took me an hour and 17 minutes, and I did a lot of talking through there. Um, but it's a pretty good one-to-one translation of the cards and dice experience. So go ahead and give myself a like over here. I'm gonna end the stream there. Share this out. Um, I hope you guys enjoy and have a good evening.